60, 65, or 67. It's one of the biggest money decisions you'll ever make, and getting it right or wrong can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and years of your life. Yet most people pick their retirement age based on a gut feeling or a round number, or whenever their mates went. So let me give you the honest breakdown. In Australia, 3 ages actually matter when it comes to retiring, and each one unlocks something different, and one of them is a pivot point that changes everything. I'll walk you through what happens at 60, at 65, and at 67, exactly what each age gives you and what it costs you, and then the honest answer on which is right for you, because it's not the same for everyone. But once you understand what each age unlocks, the decision gets a lot clearer. Let's go. Start with 60, because 60 is where the door first opens. For almost everyone retiring today, 60 is your preservation age, the age you're finally allowed to touch your super. And it comes with a gift. From 60, money you take out of a tax super fund is completely tax-free. Not taxed at a lower rate, tax-free. So at 60, you can walk away from work and start drawing a tax-free income from your own super. That's the appeal, and it's a real one. Retiring at 60 buys you your healthiest, most active years, free. But here's what 60 costs you, and it's the thing people underestimate. At 60, there is no age pension. None. The pension doesn't start until 67. So if you retire at 60, you have to fund 7 full years, 60 to 67, entirely out of your own super, with no government support at all. Those 7 years are what I call the bridge, and they're the most financially dangerous stretch of an early retirement. You're drawing hard on your savings, often in the years the markets are least kind, with no safety net underneath you yet. Retire at 60 without enough to cross that bridge, and you can burn through your savings before the pension ever arrives. Now 65 used to be the big one, and it still matters, though less than it once did. The main thing 65 changes is flexibility. Once you hit 65, you can access your super, whether you've retired or not. You no longer have to actually stop working to get to it. It also keeps some useful doors open. You can still make certain contributions, and the downsizer contribution from selling your home is available from 55 right through. So 65 is a kind of halfway house. More access, more flexibility, but, and this is the catch that surprises people, still no age pension. The pension age crept up over the years, and it's now 67 for everyone. So retiring at 65 still means 2 years of funding yourself before the safety net switches on. Shorter bridge than retiring at 60, but still a bridge. And that brings us to 67, the pivot point, the age that quietly changes everything. 67 is age pension age. This is the moment the government's safety net finally switches on. From 67, if you meet the means test, the age pension starts flowing. And remember, it's a net that rises as your savings fall. So retiring at 67, or waiting until then, is completely different from retiring at 60. At 67, you're not crossing a bridge alone anymore. The pension is there from day one, topping up your super, cushioning you, and rising as you draw down. Your money doesn't have to do the whole job by itself. That is an enormous difference in security. And it's why 67 isn't just another birthday. It's the line between funding yourself completely and having the system behind you. So, let me put the 3 side by side, because the trade-off becomes obvious once you see it. Retire at 60, maximum freedom, your best years, tax-free super, but 7 years entirely on your own, and you need enough to cross that bridge safely. Retire at 65, more flexibility, a shorter 2-year bridge, but still funding yourself until the pension. Retire at 67, less time in retirement, but the age pension backing you from the very first day, which dramatically lowers the amount of super you need and the risk you carry. Earlier means more life but more risk. Later means less risk but less time. That's the real trade, and no one can make it for you. But here's the strategy that ties it all together, the one a lot of people never realise is available. You don't have to choose between retiring at 60 and waiting for the pension at 67. You can do both. It's called the bridge strategy, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You retire early, at 60, 61, 63, and you deliberately live off your super through those bridge years, spending it down on purpose, knowing that when you hit 67, the age pension will switch on and take over a big share of the load. In fact, spending your super down in those early years can mean you qualify for more pension at 67. Because you will have fewer assessable assets by then. So the problem of running your super down before the pension isn't always a problem. For the right person, it's the plan. Retire early, cross the bridge on your own super, and let the pension catch you on the other side. Let me show you that with numbers. Take someone who retires at 60 with $400,000 in super. Through the bridge years, they draw, say, $40,000 a year. A comfortable, completely tax-free income, and by 67 they've spent it down to around $200,000. Now watch what happens at 67. With fewer assets, they qualify for a solid part-age pension, and that pension, combined with what's left of their super, gives them a stable income for the rest of their life. They bought themselves 7 extra years of freedom in their 60s, and they still landed on the safety net. The early spending wasn't reckless, it was the plan working exactly as intended. That is the quiet power of understanding how the bridge and the pension fit together. And there's a reason to take the earlier option seriously if you safely can, beyond the money. There's a phrase worth remembering: the go-go years. Your 60s are, for most people, your go-go years. The decade you're still fit enough to travel, to garden, to chase the grandkids, to actually do the things retirement is for. By the late 70s, for a lot of people, those quietly become the slow-go years, and then the no-go years. So $1 of retirement spent at 62 is not the same as $1 spent at 82. One buys an adventure, the other often just buys quiet. That's the real uncomfortable argument for going earlier when your numbers allow it. You're not only spending money, you're spending time you can't get back. So, who should retire when? Here's the honest answer. If you've got substantial super, enough to comfortably fund the bridge years and then some, retiring at 60 can be the best decision of your life, because you're buying back your healthiest years while they're still yours to enjoy. If your super is more modest, working a few years longer to 65 or 67, does two powerful things at once. It adds to your super and it shortens or removes the bridge you have to self-fund. And if you're somewhere in between, the bridge strategy, retire early, live off super, let the pension take over at 67, is often the sweet spot. The worst approach is the common one, picking an age out of habit or exhaustion, without ever mapping out whether your money actually stretches across the gap to 67. So before you set a date, the questions to put to a licensed financial advisor or a free financial information service officer at Services Australia are these. Based on my super, can I safely fund the years between when I want to retire and when the age pension starts at 67? And what will my pension look like when it does? Answer those two and you'll know your real best age to retire. Not a guess, not a round number, but the age your actual numbers support. 2 honest notes before you go. First, the preservation age, the pension age and the rules around them can change, so confirm the current position with Services Australia and the ATO before you set anything in stone. Second, this is general information, not personal advice. The right retirement age depends entirely on your super, your health and your plans, so this is exactly the kind of decision to model properly with a licensed financial advisor or a free financial information service appointment through Services Australia before you hand in your notice. If this helped you think about your own timing, tell me in the comments, what age are you aiming for? 60, 65 or 67? It helps me know what to cover next. Take care and I'll see you in the next one.